Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Friday, the 18th of February 2022. In today's Meal News, we're going to start off with this story. It's an interview with Tyler Burey from South London Press via londonnewsonline.co.uk. It's 20 seconds you want to relive again. Tyler Burey on his first meal goal and a special celebration for his mum. Tyler Burey has spoken about the biggest moment of his Millwall career and why he almost instantly wanted to send a message to his mum. The 21-year-old produced a superb finish past QPR goalkeeper David Marshall on Tuesday night to open his goal account for the South Londoners. Burey was booked by referee James Leamington for whipping off his shirt to celebrate, but he also formed his hands into the shape of a heart for his mum Stephanie, sat in the Barry Kitchener stand. It's 20 seconds you wish you could relive again, Burey told South London Press. My emotions were running high. My mum and my agent there were watching me. It's a weird one as well because my mum was thinking about not coming because she got home from work late. She was debating whether or not to come, but I think she had a gut feeling to come. As soon as I scored, I sent her a love art. She was sitting up in the top tier. It's great my mum was there because she's been with me from the start of my journey. Me going to Hartlepool was a big career moment, but that was the best highlight scoring for the club I actually played for in a big London derby. I've come on and taken my chance. It was really the only chance I had in the game. Shooting is one of my best attributes. I'm quite confident as soon as I get the ball. The other players know I've done it before in training, cutting in on my right and finding that far corner. As soon as it left my foot, I thought it was going in. Burey joined Hartlepool on loan at the start of August and had 3 goals in 7 League 2 outings before he suffered a major hamstring injury. He only returned to fitness around the start of 2022, and Lions manager Gary Rowetts decided not to send him back to the North East, no doubt partly due to some of his other attacking players being in the treatment room. That's why my celebration was from the heart, said Burey, who had not been yellow carded in his other appearances for the South Londoners. The injury hit me hard. I wasn't in the right mindset at the start. I had to change that around and start to become positive. I didn't need surgery, but I had to see a specialist, and it was a grade 3 tear, which is 12 to 14 weeks out. In football, there is never a good or right time to be injured. To go from such a high to then not even being able to go on a football pitch and be able to even run or touch a ball has been one of the hardest things in my career. I had to get back from a 3.5-month injury with my hamstring. The last time I had my chance at Millwall was against Boreham Wood in the FA Cup, and I should have scored, but I didn't. A year later, I got another chance, and I have scored. It's an amazing feeling. I had a chat with a gaffer after I came back from Hartlepool and told him I was hungry for another opportunity. I want to keep learning and learning. I'm still young. I need to stay humble, keep working hard, and take whatever chances come my way. Burey has a fan in teammate Jed Wallace, whose flick put him through for his big moment against Rangers. There are definite similarities between the two. Both never look to go into hiding or take the safe options, always trying to get into areas that hurt the opposition. I love Tyler. He's having himself, confident in his ability, but in a good way, said Wallace. He's got that edge I like to see in players. He needs big open spaces. Sometimes it's hard for him to show in training what he's got. When he can run at people, he's got that power and that pace. I can still remember Burey coming on in a League One match against Charlton in December 2018, only his third senior start, and injecting dynamism into AFC Wimbledon's play. But you have to be fearless as a winger, said Burey. Your job is to score goals and get assists. I know what I've got to do. I've been fearless from when I was young. Myself and Jed have got a great relationship. He was always there to help me. Whenever he sees something he knows I could do better or add to my game. It's good as well because he is a player who I want to be like, scoring goals and being a number 7. He's been in the game a long time and I need to soak up everything that he tells me. He's always positive with me and pushes me to be better. So there you go. We've got this about Tyler. We've also got another story from Tyler Burey, about Tyler Burey, and it's this also from London News Online. And ridiculous. Millwall boss won't be fining Tyler Burey for a goal celebration that earned booking against QPR. Tyler Burey will not be fined for his goal celebration against QPR on Tuesday night, with Millwall manager Gary Rowetts describing his booking as ridiculous. The 20-year-old attacker scored for the first time for the Lions in a 2-0 victory at the Den. Burey whipped off his shirt and was yellow carded by referee James Leamington. The rules state that it is deemed to be unsporting behaviour. Burey told the South London Press that his reaction was from the heart after grafting his way back from a major hamstring injury that sidelined him for more than 3 months. But Rowetts said, "It is such a ridiculous rule. He's a young player who's taken off his shirt, but he's got Under Armour, a long sleeve base underneath, so it's just one of his shirts. He has stayed within the pitch and celebrates. I think the parameters around that rule are about inciting the crowd. If you jump over an advertising hoarding and throw your shirt into the crowd, then I understand that's a little bit different. I'm not sure what the fine will be, but we'll probably let him off it because it's a pretty stupid rule." Burey is pressing for a start at Blackburn Rovers tomorrow, especially with Oliver Burke coming off in midweek with a hamstring injury. Luke Freeman is set to be sidelined for the remainder of the season with an issue in the same muscle. Former Wimbledon youngster Burey has netted 4 times this season, 3 of those while on loan at League 2 Hartlepool. Rowett said, "We've put a lot of confidence into him since we've been here. We can see the potential. What's nice is that was probably his real first chance through no fault of his own to show his potential. He's got to repeat it now. That's his challenge." What I like is that Tyler's said he wants that feeling again repeatedly. It was a good finish, but you only start being talked about and get to where you want to get to if you repeat those performances and put 4 or 5 of those type of chances away. Then things start to get a little bit more exciting for you because you start to get more games and get a bit more of a profile. Yeah, you become a decent player and people want to see you play, and that's what you need to do. So we're going to move on now to more quotes from Gary Rowett, this time about Kieftenbeld. This is also from the London News Online.co.uk. I haven't had that conversation yet. Millwall boss on midfielder's contract situation. Millwall manager Gary Rowett has yet to speak to Kieftenbeld over his long-term playing future. The Netherlands midfielder, who turns 32 towards the end of June, is due to be a free agent this summer. Kieftenbeld has played the full 90 minutes in the last 5 league games, particularly impressive against Cardiff and QPR. Asked if the former Birmingham and FC Groningen player had indicated his preference beyond this season, Wright replied, "I haven't had that conversation. Sometimes when players get a little bit older, you have to naturally wait for these contract negotiations. I don't think you can just dive in and start offering long contracts. I don't think the club will want to do that, but I'll certainly have those conversations as the season progresses. For any player, it's about playing as well as you can, give it to yourself the best possible options, then it's your choice as a player. I think Miko enjoys it here, and I think he enjoys London. He's a good player. Miko was in the side at the start of the season for different reasons. We changed from a 5-3-2 to 5-2-3. It meant we didn't need to start all of those midfielders who had been in the side. He came out the side for a little bit, but he trained brilliantly. His attitude and character means he does all the right things. His reward is that he gets another opportunity, and he's done well. If he's playing to this level and his form is like this throughout the season, then of course you'd like to keep a player like that, but at the same time, we know there's quite a lot of change at the end of the season. We've always tried to be fair. Bradders was scoring goals and playing really well. At some point you recognise you have to sit down and reward that player, but for most you want to leave it later to make sure you're making a good decision based over a long period of time. He's a player who's done really well for me in the past and in the present. He's a player I trust to go out and do what I want to do." So there you go. It's not had a conversation about extending his contract now. So he'll be waiting until the end of the season. Is that a budget thing? I'm sure if Gary Rowett could use the money to bring in a better player, he probably would. That's just how it is, isn't it? If you've got a limited budget, you've got to watch the pennies. Not only that, there is, I don't know if this is what's going on here, but there's a rumor online on Twitter that Kieftenbeld he's got injured now, and he's done his hamstring, and he's set to be out for 6 weeks, which I don't know if that's true, because it seems like maybe it's a bit of a joke. All the hamstring injuries we've got going on now, there's some saying, "Oh well, he's got it now," but usually that if he got injured in training during a week, they, as I said in, I think it was in yesterday's video, once you get the injury, they let it calm down because you get the immediate inflammation. Then as it starts to heal, the inflammation kind of subsides, and then you can see what the actual real damage is, not the immediate inflammation damage is. So they would have a scan later. So maybe he is injured, but it's just speculation that he's out for a long time. But we don't know. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow when the team is announced. Could that mean George Evans is back in the team? Oh my god, I hope not. Maybe Saville. We will see. We will see. We're going to move on to this story now, and then we're going to move on to Blackburn preview. So more loan moves for Millwall youngsters. Wright joins Cray as Penney extends his wings loan. So Millwall's under-23s goalkeeper Joe Wright has joined Cray Wanderers on a 28-day loan. Wright, a regular between the sticks for Kevin Nugent's side, will now further his development at Hayes Lane with the Isthmian Premier League side, with a home fixture against Haringey Borough to come this Saturday afternoon. Arthur Penney, meanwhile, will spend a further 28 days at Welling United after his loan spell was extended once again. I think that's like 4 or 5 extensions he's had now. Seems they like him down there and he likes being down there, and good for him. I hope he's progressing well. So now we're going to jump into the Blackburn Rovers preview of tomorrow's game. Now, as some of you may know, there is a massive storm coming through. It's come through. Some train services were completely cancelled, suspended, majorly disrupted. Some sporting fixtures, including football games on Friday night, were postponed. Now the storm is set to be gone by the time Saturday afternoon we play Blackburn Rovers, but the fallout from the storm may still be continuing. There may be problems on the motorways, there may be problems on the railways, so be aware. Check it out. Don't do a bit of preparation because yeah, things might be a bit fucked up. So if you are heading up there, or you plan to, just bear that in mind. So let's go into it. So Blackburn Rovers were one of the founding teams of the Football League back in the 1880s, and because of that, we came to the show late. We were a Southern League team. We joined that first, and then when the Football League was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and became the VHS to the Southern League's Betamax, we decided to, as with a load of other Southern League clubs, to come into the Football League in 1920. So, because of that, Blackburn Rovers, which Blackburn Rovers were and are probably a big club. Now, you wouldn't think that if you were born in the modern era, but they were. And I think what did for them was Jimmy Hill getting rid of the maximum wage, which was the situation back in the day where there were wage limits on how much a footballer could earn. And when football became more and more popular and they were making more and more money, Jimmy Hill, on behalf of the PFA and professional footballers up and down the country, decided to challenge that in court. And they won, and they got rid of it. And then we see the explosion into what we see today in the Premier League, which some think is a bit obscene. But if the clubs as a whole are making so much money, then they're passing that on to their employees, who are the ones generating that through exciting and proper and decent football play. So it is what it is. But you can see here, so when must have had a bad go of it before the war, because they were in Division 2, and that's when we first met them up at Ewood Park. I don't know if it was Ewood Park then, in 1939. We lost 3-1. Didn't play them again until 1966, and I imagine by then the effects of the maximum wage were taking effect, and all they couldn't have compete with other places in the country, like the Manchester teams, the Liverpool teams, the Southern teams as well. So the London teams, and you can see here they have a lot of spells in Division 2, and even in Division 3 we played them in 1979. So we haven't played them that many times because they were such a big club, and we weren't that big of a club. They then had a little revival in the 90s. The first geezer, basically, one of the first in the modern era, in the Premier League era, to come in and buy the league. I think it's Jack Walker. He took over the club, got them up into the Premier League, and bought Alan Shearer, and they won the league. I think taking over from Man United for a couple of seasons, which was a funny old time. But you can see we haven't played them that many times. From the last game was in 2020 December, and we lost 2-1. And you'll notice here there is a massive sea of red. We have one up there. We won in that FA Cup game. I think it was Danny Shitu goal. Thunderbolt from about the halfway line. That was 1-0. That was in 2013. That was the last time we won up there. We did drew 0-0 in 2018. But there is a massive amount of red, which is defeats on our trips to Blackburn Rovers. So if you are one of the Millwall fans who've been to one of these wins, you are in a rare club. Only 5 wins in the history of Blackburn Rovers versus Millwall. Only 5 wins out of whatever looks like 22 or so fixtures. Not even that many draws, only 3 draws. So 5 wins, 3 draws, and a hell of a lot of defeats. Not by much, to be honest with you, not by much. The worst was a 4-0 back in 1969. So we don't lose by much, but we do lose a lot up there. So let's get into this more recent form. Never mind about the 1939 and all that. What's been going on recently? So here you go, the last 6 games of Blackburn versus Millwall. It's been 4 wins for Blackburn, 1 draw and 1 win for Millwall. We've only scored 4 goals in those 6 games, and they have scored 9. And we have had 10 yellow cards to their 2. So this is a tough fixture. Match facts on the right. Blackburn have seen under 2.5 goals in 7 of their last 8 matches against Millwall in all competitions. Indeed, not a lot of goals in this game. We don't get beaten by much. There was a 3-2 defeat in 2013. Blackburn are undefeated in 11 of their last 12 matches against Millwall in all competitions. Indeed. So, as you can see, as the table stands, Blackburn are 3rd in the table. They've scored 45 goals and only conceded 33, which is as many as we have scored and conceded. Not together, but 33 goals we've scored, 33 goals we conceded. So our defence is as good as Blackburn Rovers, but our attack is of course not. We do have a game in hand on them. If we look at the form table, you can see, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So Blackburn are not in the best of form. A lot of these teams at the top, the Blackburns and QPRs, are having a little bit of a wobble. Blackburn have in the last 6 games won 1, drawn 2, lost 3. They have only scored 1 goal. They have massive injury problems. They are in an injury crisis. We have a very good defence. Now, a team that's only scored 1 goal in 6 games surely our defence is capable of keeping a clean sheet against this lot. Must be. Come on. Whereas in the last 6 games we've won 3, drawn 1, lost 2. And but bearing in mind, I think those 3 wins have all been at home. That would be the QPR game, the Cardiff game, the West Brom game. So it looks good, but if we switch to home form, Blackburn Rovers' home form is the same as ours. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So don't be fooled by the overall form. Look at the home form and look at our away form. There you go. We can't win away from home for toffee. That 1 win there in the last 6 games was against Coventry City. And we've lost the last 5 of the last 6 away games, conceding 11 goals. So overall form, you would think we got a chance, but when you look at the home form of Blackburn versus our away form, you've got that completely switches the other way. So let's move down here to what we can see. So the last 6 home matches for Blackburn, the last 6 away matches for Millwall, the last 2 away matches we failed to score against Blackburn, against Fulham. Before that, we did score in all of our away games, even scoring 2 away to Bristol City, but losing 3-2. We only kept 1 clean sheet. That was against Coventry. So if we can keep a clean sheet tomorrow against Blackburn with all their injury problems, could be seeing us winning that game. I think that's the only way. Will we score 2 away from home? Doubtful. Very doubtful. It's not a thing we do. I mean, you can see here we did it against Bristol City, but they're a team at the bottom of the table. They ain't Blackburn Rovers. Now look at Blackburn. So last game they lost 2-0. Last home game they lost 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. They had a player sent off. But 4 of those games they've kept a clean sheet. So could we be looking at 0-0 tomorrow? They got a 0-0 with Huddersfield. They kept a clean sheet against Middlesbrough and Birmingham and Preston. But they did concede 1 against Barnsley, who are in the relegation zone. So what can we see from that? I don't know. But Blackburn, even though their overall form looks bad, when you do it home and away, it looks like we're being set up to take a hiding. Here's the strengths and weaknesses. A lot of strengths for Blackburn, a lot of weaknesses as well. There you go. If you want to pause that and have a look, there you go. But I'm not going to read all that out. Now we're going to move on to this. So this is from whoscored.com as well. They have a lineup, but it's not that up to date or clued in. Bradley Dack is out. He's been playing for the under 23s, but he's coming back from a massive ACL reconstruction, so they don't want to throw him in. They want him to play for the under 23s for a bit more. So we've seen the match facts. Let's have a look at the predictions. So Blackburn was solid at the back on Monday night, but flat to deceive going forward as they played out a goalless draw against Steve Bruce's West Brom. Rovers' automatic promotion bid has taken a hit in recent weeks, with Tony's Mowbray side winless in 4 league games. Millwall's trademark defensive stability was on show throughout the last fortnight, with Garrow outside conceding just 1 goal in victories against an informed Cardiff side and a 4th placed QPR. The Lions have lost just one of their last 5 league games. Yes, but home and away. Different types of games, different types of setups. And they say Blackburn 1, Millwall 1. Okay, so there's one prediction. So that's still probably a bad result for Blackburn, but that's a decent result for Millwall. So they're probably going against Blackburn there with that result. We now have Brighton's predictions. I forgot to pull it up. I pulled up the main page. I didn't pull up his page. So this is from skysports.com. David Brighton has made some predictions. What has he predicted for us? So let's have a scroll down and see what he says. Blackburn versus Millwall, Saturday 3 p.m. 4 games without a win now for Blackburn, and 4 games without a goal as well. A bit of perspective is needed because they are still in a fantastic position, but it does not take too long in this league for a dip to become a slump to become a slide. Millwall have had a great week, 2 good wins, as them firing back up the table and back within glancing distance of the playoffs. You never know where a few wins on the bounce can take you in the championship, but I think they will draw here. And Pratton predicts Blackburn 1, Millwall 1. So they're going with the draw, probably because they think Millwall's away form is so shit, but Blackburn's overall form is so shit at the moment, even though the home form is pretty decent. They probably didn't look at that. And you would think Millwall won 2 games in a row, but they were both home games. To win 3 in a row would probably be a bit of a stretch, especially seeing as it's an away game. Now we have got a game in midweek against Derby away, which is a more winnable game. I think this is going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw. I think it's going to be Blackburn 0, Millwall 0. Yeah, that's what I think. So, thank you for watching and goodbye.